Right away, a guy from the Port Authority told him the damage was somewhere above the 78th floor. But all you had to do was look around. It was obvious. Something had happened right there in the lobby.
What happened?
We was in an explosion. We was in the lobby and the third explosion, the whole lobby collapsed on us.
What was it like? What was it like?
Horrible.
It's like hell. You don't want to know.
The whole building just collapsed on us inside the lobby.
Was that a secondary explosion?
Yes, it was.
That was the
Yeah, definitely secondary explosion. Because we was inside waiting to go upstairs, and on the way upstairs, the whole fucking plane blew.
Yeah, here's one of the guys who can tell you I'm okay. All right? Here, hold on. You want to call your mother or something?
Shooting. All of a sudden, it was like bang, 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 like bullet shots. And then all of a sudden, 3 tremendous explosions. And everything started coming down.
We're hearing a number of large booms coming from that area. We can only...
I went around by the freight elevator, and I could see it was just blown. It was just a giant 30th floor. We hear another explosion.
I think a bomb went off in the lobby first, then a plane hit the building. But then another plane hit the other building. But when I was coming through the doors on the other side of the Trade Center, either they blew the lobby up or something, because it blew the glass out of the doors and knocked us all down, and I got smoke and everything on me.
On the floor where I was walking, that's when we started heading for the exit. And
then we got downstairs.
We got to the 4th floor from 82nd floor.
And all of a sudden, there was this big explosion. I don't know if
everything went
just like what you just seen. That's what we went through before we came out of the building.
The ladies that are with me were in the World Trade Center in the first building and escaped through the lobby, where they report they believe there was a bomb in the lobby.
We ran down the steps to the lobby. There was no lobby. Everything was torn up. And even the turnstile was burnt and was sticking up, and they just told us to run.
Past the lobby, there was no lobby. So I believe the bomb hit the lobby first.
Aaron, just 2 or 3 minutes ago, there was yet another collapse or explosion. I'm now out of sight. A Good Samaritan has taken me in on Duane Street. But at 11:15, there was another collapse or explosion following the 10:30 collapse of the second tower. And a firefighter who rushed by us estimated that 50 stories went down. The street filled with smoke. It was like a forest fire roaring down a canyon. Now, as I think Patty Sabga and others have told you, all of Manhattan is covered, downtown Manhattan is covered with thick white ash and building material.
It's none available. We also saw some police officers coming down this street a little bit earlier on wearing full gas masks, almost like riot gear. They were heading into that area. What's so frightening at this time is that we've heard 3 explosions since both towers collapsed. I stopped another police officer. He was a New York City police officer who was working traffic in this area, to ask him if he'd heard over his radio transmissions whether in fact those were car bombs, as one officer had told me, or whether he'd heard anything else. He said he thought they were just residual collapse sounds and explosions that were just from the original collapse, but we haven't had confirmation on that. The first officer that I did get the information from that was a car bomb looked as though he was an inspector, plain clothes of some sort. He had a radio as well and a cell phone, and was walking right past me down this area. And I walked with him as he was talking on the cell phone. I said, "What was it?" And he said, "Car bomb." And when I asked him to elaborate, he said, "No time, no time." And he continued to walk forward.
Listen, the 4-1 should have taken...
I guess.
Michael, stay with us if you would. We want to go back to Marcia Kramer, who's in the newsroom, for a further update. Marcia?
Well, we have a number of updates. Number one, CNN is now reporting that there was a 3rd explosion at the World Trade Center, probably an explosion from the ground that caused World Trade Center 1 to collapse on top of itself.
For Willie Rodriguez's testimony that he heard, experienced, and his co-workers were actually burned by an explosion in the basement of the North Tower prior to the plane hitting, and this has been verified by at least 20 different...
fallen debris, but from the concussive force of the explosion, which slammed them against walls, knocked them to the ground.
He tried to get his men out as quickly as he could, but he said that there was another explosion which took place, and then an hour after the first hit here, with the first crash that took place, he said, there was another explosion that took place in one of the towers here. He thinks that there were actually devices that were planted in the building.
He says that he probably lost a great many men in those secondary explosions, and he said that there were literally hundreds, if not thousands of people in those two towers when the explosions took place. He said...
I don't know, an hour later than that, we had that big explosion from much, much lower. I don't know what on earth caused that. People were just standing around, talking